everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Girls and Gays Let's Talk. As you remember, we shared with Sandra the 3 books that we had read regarding immigration. And today we are finally telling stories that were shared with us from those closest to us. So buckle up and get ready to learn about immigration.
Yes. And Sandra is with us today also again.
Hey guys. Hello.
Okay, so I have my grandmother's story. Yours is from
my father.
Your father. And you said, Sandra, yours was with your cousin?
My cousin, yeah.
Oh, okay. Mine's pretty long.
Alrighty, it's about 2.5 pages.
Yeah, that's about with small font. But here we go. I came to the United States in 1984, and before I came to this country, I worked for the Ministry of National Defense in Mexico City. I was a soldier. I was a first sergeant. But I always thought that what I earned was not enough to raise my children, my 4 children. And that was the reason I wanted to come to this country, because people I knew who came to this country, they would live a better life financially for themselves and for their children. And that was the reason I came to this country with a passport. I didn't have to cross the river. I came with the passport, and I came first to see how it was like here in Houston, especially when I arrived. And my brothers were here. My brother Efrain and my brother Andres. They were here at the same time, and they gave me the desire to come and stay in this country. But also, the husband of my sister Gloria, whose name is Eduardo, he always told me that I could come to this country. He is a military Air Force pilot who is there in Mexico, and he always told me that there was a better future for my children if I came to this country. And that was the thing that that was the thing that helped me look at things differently. That he is right, because I can strive for a better future for my children, and that was the reason I came. I started working. It was not easy at all. It was not easy at all because I could not find a job, and I went to a radio station that was called Radio Morales in those years. And there at the station, there was 1 hour that they said that was a job offer for people who are looking for jobs. If I went to that station, that was down Canal Street in Houston. I got there. I told them I'm here, applied for jobs. There they came out. The ads of the people who needed workers came out, and was able to take a job there to take care of an elderly person. I spent 7 months working for him. And then I quit this job when I already had another job in a house with some dentists. They had a dental clinic, that's right. I started working with them about 2.5 years. I was doing everything there. I took care of the children. I was a babysitter. I was a housekeeper. I was the driver that had to take the children to school. I had to do all the housework for $120 a week from Monday to Saturday. But for when I worked taking care of the old man, I was paid $100 per week. And I could only have a day off once a month from that job, so I could visit my brother. That was also the reason I wanted to get out of there, to see if I could earn a little more. But it wasn't that easy, because life in America, many think in one's country that life here is easy, but it's not. But when you start to know the people, you start to talk to more people, there will always be more opportunities to earn a little better. I was here for 1 year, then returned to Mexico to see my children at that time. That's how I was. A while with them, like about 2 months. Then I returned again to the United States to go back to work because many times they think that one arrives here that soon you will have money and it'll be very easy. But no, because you have to pay for food, you have to pay for rent, the people you live with. I had many bills that I had here. But later after this, I returned a second time and then I worked cleaning houses. I started cleaning houses and stuff, and it helped me a lot because I had already earned more money. I could buy more food. I also met a guy who made my life impossible. I met a guy, I married him. I'm not even going to say his name because it's not worth it. But this one promised me that he was going to be good person with my children and that I was going to be better with him. But the truth is that he wasn't a good person. I was wrong. That's how I kept fighting. Then my daughter, Olivia, got married. Right? They're married. Then my daughter, Jasenia, only my two sons, Daniel and Carlos, remained. And I continued with the house cleaning business. And this has been a great blessing for me because it is from there I began to look at the fruit of my work. I saw it was already what I wanted when I started earning $100 per week when I worked with the old man. Then I worked the house with the dentist, and I earned $120 a week. It was only $20 more. Then I always said my goal, one day I can earn $200 at least a day. And that was my goal. But I started earning $50 per day. Then I was already earning about $250 a week. And then we're $400 a week. And then the time passed, so I would spend more time in my business. I was improving. I had to work very hard because I was going out cleaning houses and was going to take care of children because my kids were no longer children. They were already able to take care of themselves. Then I made a little more money because what I earned in the houses plus what they paid me to take care of the children. This was enough, and that's how I earned $500 a week. But what I didn't tell you is that I brought Olivia first. About 2 years after I came to this country, I brought Olivia, and we had to buy a car for $175. So you can imagine how this car was. It was dodgy. I don't remember what year, but it looked horrible inside. But this car ran super well. It took us everywhere. But that was all we had. Olivia was very embarrassed to get on, but she bought some covers for the car, so it wasn't so horrible to me. But the car took us everywhere, and it was a great blessing. So our life was getting better, and that I can say now is I achieved my goals. Was that I wanted to buy a place where I live, and this was what we bought the place here. At the time, we bought it with $1,500. It was very difficult to raise. $1,500 for a down payment and pay $200 per month. The payment, but my goals were being met. They were being realized, and that's how I was improving my business. I had to work for some time alone, 2 to 3 houses by myself. I worked very hard. After I hired a lady who helped me, my business was improving, and thank God, here I am still on my business and working. I think it was good to have goals in life you want to achieve, and thank God my children and my children too, because they were the reason I could fight to keep going to work. I never did drugs, thank God. I think that helped me a lot not get in trouble. The only trouble I got into was I was always in a hurry and really like to drive fast in the car. And he gave me a lot of tickets. And one occasion, they took me to jail. I was in jail for Thanksgiving. Yeah, I remember the story.
No.
Yeah, it was Wednesday, and the next day was Thanksgiving. So I spent time in jail for jail on Thanksgiving, but nothing serious, right? Well, only because I like driving fast and still like to drive fast when I feel good, of course.
Going really fast to go to jail.
And well, she has had a few tickets from it too.
Oh my God.
Which is funny.
Did she not pay them and that's why she went to jail?
She paid them. I think it was because, there's like so many, like points. When you get a ticket, there's points towards your license and all that. So I think that's why. And she was driving pretty fast.
Oh my
is what I was told when this happened.
Oh.
Yeah, which is kind of funny because now the whole family drives fast. And so when we like leave her house, she always says, drive carefully. And so say, don't worry, I drive like my grandmother.
Oh, so wow. That is cute. I like it.
Yeah, so that's our family joke. That's my story, right? Well, we come to this country to succeed, and God has allowed me and like to see my children have to, and my grandchildren. All my families are hardworking people. They really like to work to get ahead, and well, I encourage that they continue to fight for a better life. I'm happy for my grandchildren, for all my grandchildren. I love you all. This was the reason for coming to this country, so that my future generations would have a better life. Yes, I worked hard, but I have made it, thanks to God. We are well off. We are not rich, but we are lack nothing. That's how it is. God bless you all for being hardworking people. My family, more than anything, thank you all. I give thanks for those I gave opportunity so I could work in their homes without knowing me. They could see me first day and they gave me the keys. And I think that's great blessing, isn't it? That they have confidence in me. I never got into trouble like that. I started going to a Christian church, and that is when God opened the doors. And we are blessed. The story goes on. Isn't it true that I have survived cancer twice? It's true that God has been merciful to me, has helped me have the faith in him. And here I am, although the doctor said there was no hope, but God's everything's possible. And then she asked me if I had any questions. I said the questions was for the passport. What type of passport was it? She said it was a tourist visa.
So she came here as a tourist, and then
she came here as a tourist. Her tourist visa was. She said it was for 10 years. So that's how that's how she went back and then came back, and then I'm gonna just summarize the rest of it. There's still a bit more. So she said that she still has her government ID from whenever she was in the military.
Oh wow!
And she told me she still has her original passport for whenever she had the visa to come.
Did you see it?
I didn't see it.
ID?
She said that it's put away somewhere, but that she has them.
I would like to see that. That was 1984?
Yeah.
Dang.
And then
so she left the military to come to the United States?
Yes. And then I had asked her how much money she had to spend to like bring her kids over and all that. Apparently she found some friends of hers that were American, they were white, that brought her kids for her, like if they were hers, like if they were their kids. But apparently that day at the on the border, there was nobody there. They just crossed it on the bridge. Yeah. And so that's how they got across.
They were going to say that those are their kids and they had their
that's
real
how she made it
children's birth
sound.
certificates?
Yeah, because she made it. Well, she said that they were crossing, but there was nobody there.
Wow.
So she said that these people brought her for her. So I'm guessing that's how they did it. She wasn't like super specific. Which,
yeah.
This is a long time ago, so I don't blame her. But yeah, and then as to how she became legal, because she is legal now. Mm-hmm. She says, when I arrived, there was amnesty, and I had the opportunity to become a resident. And then in a few years, she became a citizen.
Wow. So she was sworn in and everything.
Yes.
Wow.
So yeah, that's it. Dang. That's her story.
That's insane. She retired having her own business.
No, she still does it.
How old is she?
I don't know how old is she. Sandra, do you know how old she is? I
never asked her age.
I never asked her age either. I think she's I want to say she's in her 70s.
Oh, dang.
She's not crazy old, but she...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, shout out to Grandma.
Yeah.
You know, and you're here now.
Yeah, you know.
You know, if it wasn't for her sacrifice, she wouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah, no. I thought it was an interesting story just because I've never heard it.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Mm-hmm. And so it was interesting to hear it, to sit there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I let her borrow one of the books we read.
Oh, you did?
Solita.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so now she's reading that one. Because I told her, like, people want to read these stories. Like,
yeah,
you could write a book about it if you had a good story.
Mm-hmm.
And so she said that one of her friends had a very good story. And I asked her, like, well, let me know if she wants me to record it for her. And she never got back to me. So, so I didn't record it. Who wants to go next?
I guess I'll go. So the story is about my father's story. I didn't really get to have that experience like you did with your grandma, where I got to sit down and ask him questions or anything like that. And I do regret not like being more curious while he was still alive to ask him about it. But then again, like if I ask more than 2 questions, he shuts everything down.
Okay.
So I asked my mom for what she remembered about his story, asked my siblings as well, and I went ahead and put them together.
Yeah, you piece everything together.
Yeah, but I know there's probably so much more that I'm missing that I wish I would have gotten to know. So if you're listening to this, ask your immigrant family their story before it's too late.
Yeah.
Okay. So my dad first came to the United States when he was just 16. He didn't come with a map or a plan. It was just 3 guys from his neighborhood, and they had a dream, and they were desperate, and they had a desperate hope to create a better life for his mom back in Mexico. So they hopped on trains, they walked through the woods, and they somehow ended up in San Antonio, Texas, of course. And they didn't know anybody. They slept on park benches and looked for work during the day. And one day, whenever they were going to go sleep at the park, they saw a woman there who was feeding the kids. And at 16, my dad, he looked a lot younger than what he actually was. Mm-hmm. So his more grown-up friends told him, hey, go see if you can get us some food, because she was feeding the kids in the park. So my dad went, and then she asked, how many people are with you? Because automatically, I guess she immediately knew. So she would feed them breakfast and lunch, and she would always pack extra for him because she knew that he had those 2 people with him as well. But after a few weeks of struggling, and my dad, he did not want to be living on the streets anymore because, like I said, he knew absolutely nobody. He ended up going back to Mexico, and that was his first failed attempt. And so 2 years later, at 18, he ended up coming back, and this time he came by himself. He was kind of familiar with the route, and his brother had gotten married over in Houston. And so his brother was like, if you can go ahead and find your way over here, you can go ahead and stay with my sister-in-law. So my dad crossed the border, and he didn't speak any kind of English, but he was able to find work. And it was, the kind of work that nobody really wants. Like, digging ditches so they can lay down pipes and getting paid less than minimum wage. And so he met my mom after a while. And then whenever he would get off of work, he'd be like, what does this word mean? And then my mom would tell him what it meant. And he's like, nobody's going to talk to me like that, And so he asked her specifically, what is stupid motherfucking no good wetback? And then my mom told him what that meant. And so then whenever his boss said it to him again and he knew what it meant, he immediately popped back. I know mother effing wetback, you are. And then he threw his shovel down and then he just quit. And then immediately he was able to find a job because he's an immigrant, no papers, less than minimum wage. That is the ideal for all of these jobs and everything.
Yeah.
And so fast forward, and I'm now 12 years old. I'm 12 years old. And my dad has been trying for years to try to get a citizenship. And I just remember it was constant going to court. Okay, well, you're coming back for this hearing, and just constant court dates. And then 12 years old, I come home from school and my mom's like, I need to talk to all of y'all. And we're like, okay, what's going on? And that's whenever she told us that our dad had been detained by immigration. And we're like, well, what does that even mean? So she explained to us that throughout the whole entire time of the hearings that he was going to, because this was going on for years, immigration said that he should have been in the detention center the whole time. So he would have been in there for years if everything went as it was supposed to. But I guess he was blessed in that way that he didn't get taken sooner, because it was a while. But so every Saturday we would go and visit him, and he would be behind a glass. It was basically like a prison. And I was 12 years old. I was going through it. I don't really remember too much of it. I just remember him being in a beige jumpsuit, and we would just go in there, and it was always so cold. And it was a weird experience seeing my dad on the other side, not being able to hug him or anything like that. But then eventually he was able to come home, and I don't remember why he was able to come home, because he didn't get his citizenship anyway. So it was around 2014, and it was over 25 years of him living here that he was finally able to become a citizen. And he asked me to go with him. And I remember I was annoyed. I was 19 or 20. And I was like, why are you wanting me to go on my anniversary like this? I didn't tell him that, but I was annoyed. But looking back at it, it was because I know that he wanted somebody part of his lineage to see
you wanted a family member there.
Yeah. And so, just thinking about it, so anyways, we're surrounded by 2,221 other citizens, and he was number 2,222. So I'm like,
dang, he was the very end.
Well, his last name, but I don't think he was actually that one, but the fact that it was an angel number 2 is crazy for all those people that were becoming citizens that day. So he spent 25 years trying to get his citizenship, and he only got to be a citizen for 4 years before his passing. So
dang, that's sad.
Yeah, it's crazy. I wish I had more to know about, what he was thinking during certain times, but I don't have that.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
All right, Sandra, your turn.
Mine story, it's about my cousin. It's a short story because he told me just a little bit, but I think I was there. No, I wasn't physically there, but I remember it too. Because I remember he's my mom's sister's son. So he came over here when he was 16, about to turn 17. And I remember him saying that, like, the reason he decided to, because he didn't want to, like, every time I would talk to him, the first thing he says, is like, he loves Mexico, but he doesn't like how, no matter how much you work, you're not gonna get anywhere because you don't make a lot of money. And he used to say, like, working a whole day, you'll get like 300 pesos. But to buy a gas tank to cook food, it's like 400 pesos. So you have to work a whole day just to be able to do that. And so that's when he decided to come over here to help my aunt and my four other cousins, because he's the second oldest to all of them. And then I remember him talking about how on the way over here, it was him and I think three of his friends, three or four. But there was a lot more people that they were in the same little group. And I mean, he had to pay a lot for them to get the, like, a coyote to cross them over here. And whenever he walked, I believe for 6 to 7 days straight through the desert. And on the last day before, like, they were able to see the border and everything, like, to cross to the US side. It was at night when they were already planning to cross, when immigration actually caught them. He started running, and he says that whenever he was running, it was complete darkness everywhere. So he just remembers, like, running into things, fences, things like that. Like, he has splinters, everything. At some point, he was barefoot, and he doesn't even remember, like, the pain of it, because the adrenaline was just going through him. And for, I want to say it was 2 days, he was by himself. He didn't know where he was at because he completely, like, he just took off. And he was running out of water. And he was just like, I'm just going to die. Like, I'm going to die here. He was by himself. And when he was about to give up, he found a gallon of water just
Oh,
randomly.
wow.
And on with us, like, from that point of view, I remember my mom talking to my aunt about it, and she was, everybody was worried because no one knew anything about him. And my mom, she would cry, my aunt would cry, everybody was praying. And in my head, like, he's a lot older. He's 5 years older than I am. So him being 16, I'm over here, like, I'm paying attention, but it's kind of like, why would he come? Like, my mind was like, why would he come by himself? And so he said that, when he found the gallon of water, he started praying, he started crying. He kept walking, and he found a house. Well, it was a ranch. And there's a lot of stories that people that live by the water, like ranchers and stuff like that, they're known for killing immigrants. And then you don't really hear about it because people don't, they don't care. But they're known for killing them and just throwing them into the river. So he was like, it's a 50-50. Either they're going to help me or they're going to kill me. And when he walked in there, they offered him food and water and actually gave him a job.
Wow.
So he was there for, I want to say it was like 4 months that he was there. And he used to say, like, immigration will, like, just pull up, and the guy that owned the ranch, he was like, this is private property, you guys cannot come in here, this is my land. So all the people that he had working there were people that, got separated from their groups or gave up halfway to crossing over here, because he was, like, right in the, like, by the border. And after that, like, he liked the working there for them, but he wasn't making money like he wanted to. He wanted to help my aunt over there. He wanted to be able to afford, like, at the time too, my his youngest sister, she was very sick. She did end up passing away from, to be honest, we never knew what she had because they couldn't really afford a doctor. So it was always like, she has this, but she has that. And she ended up passing away when she was 15. But he was working there at the ranch, and that's when he decided that he wanted to cross over here again. So he wanted to try it again. And the rancher, he was he basically gave him a map and a cell phone. And the funny thing is that they always say, like, they use the cell phone towers to be able to track where they're at.
They
So
do?
yeah, so he used to use the cell phone towers. They're like pinpoints for them.
Mm.
So he crossed by himself again.
So whenever he got a job there for 4 months, did the
Mm-hmm.
family back home know?
Yes.
Okay.
So the guy that he worked for, his name, I think it was Toño, Antonio. I don't know. I remember he would talk to my mom. He would call my mom, like, and call my aunt, and he's like, don't worry about it. He's here, like, he's fine. He's working for me. I'm taking care of him. If he wants to leave, he can go. But if he wants to stay, like, I'm, happy to give him a job here.
Mm-hmm.
So, but my cousin still was like, I'm not making enough money. I still want to move. So he came by himself, like he crossed by himself using the cell phone towers and the map that they have given him. So I remember when he crossed over here, we went to pick him up at it was close to San Antonio, and it was at midnight when we went to get him. And at the time, you used to take the little road, so it took us forever to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And getting him over here, and I think, like, it's you're like, for me at least, I was going to high school. I was in middle school, I think, and going to school and watching him being 16, 17, like, get up at 4 in the morning so he can work construction.
Dang.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because he should be in high school with you.
Yeah.
And I think that for him, he always says, like, coming over here, you see things that you shouldn't see. Like, he says he always feels like he got lucky because he was able to make it. But he says, like, you see crosses when they're walking, because people that get left behind, they just die there.
Oh, dang, that's crazy.
Your cousin's story kind of reminds me of Solito mixed with Esperanza Rising.
I was thinking the same thing.
And the sister dying like that.
Yeah.
It's like, girl, are you the author behind all these books?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like, it's very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that, to me, it makes me question it. Like, will you leave? Like, sometimes I'm like, put myself in his shoes. Would I leave the comfort of my house to help my family and walk for 7 days, not knowing if you're gonna make it or not?
Dang, I won't even walk like down the street.
I don't know.
It's crazy. But yeah, I guess he did what he had to do.
Yeah.
Dang.
It really gets you thinking, like.
But a lot of people, like, how hard they work to get here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I haven't really heard of any, like, newer people coming to the United States.
Yeah, I haven't either.
But I haven't
sure met anybody new either. Who knows?
Yeah.
So it's actually a funny story. When I started doing podcasts, at the time I was like, I want to do it in English and I want to do it in Spanish.
Why not?
But I wanted to do the English first and see how it goes, just so I can learn it. And I was going to do the Spanish one. The Spanish one was, my plan was always to do stories from people that had come.
Oh, wow.
I was going to have them, like, I was going to interview different people and every week post a story. But then I realized how hard it was to, like, get people. So I was like, this is going out the window. And I never did it. But yeah.
You could push it on to next year.
Yeah, maybe next year I'll do it. I already have my grandmother's story recorded.
Yeah.
And then I can find people.
Because that is a good podcast idea about
I thought it was a good idea, but
it's
it was hard to find, like, people to do, like, my regular podcast. So I was like, I need to find, like, looking for people to tell me their stories. That's going to be harder.
Yeah.
Because some people I might not know, some people I will. And then having to sit down with them and record it. I didn't own my own microphone at the time. I have one now, but at the time I was like, dang, this would be a lot of work. And it could never be like a call-in. This has to be like in a person situation.
Yeah.
So that's why I abandoned it.
Oh, no.
But who knows? Maybe one day I'll do it.
You put a little pin in it.
Yeah, put a little pin in it, and then one day I'll return to it and see how hard it is. Yeah, because there's not a lot of podcasts in Spanish either.
There's not?
No.
Didn't know that.
So
I think you should go for
good.
it.
Yeah,
I need to find stories.
I have a lot of. If you want them in Spanish, I think it's easier for me to record the stories because I know a lot of people. I have friends
that would do it.
that came here. Yeah, that they're on DACA, and now they're scared because they might lose DACA.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, the guy that does my taxes, he owns his own company and he's here on DACA.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so he's trying to figure out what to do because how things are going. They're trying to get rid of DACA.
God, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Well, if any of our listeners have any stories that they want to send in, please feel free to text us down below. Our text option is in the description, or you can DM us on any social media. And there's also girlsandgayslet'stalk@gmail.com.
Hey, thanks, everyone. Bye.
That's it for today's episode of Girls and Gays Let's Talk. Thanks for hanging out with us.
If something we said hit home or made you laugh, cry, or text your toxic ex, you know what to do.
Leave us a review, share the episode with your favorite chaotic friend, and don't forget to follow us on socials for behind-the-scenes drama and messy opinions.
New episodes drop every Tuesday. Until then, stay loud, stay soft, and stay exactly who you are.
Bye.
Bye.